The Dodgers won the fucking World Series. We're going to talk for the next 2 hours about how the Dodgers won the World Series. What a fucking game, huh? I mean, just in the sense of the breakdown where Yankee baseball was comparable to Diablo's SC. We don't know if it's SoCal or South Central. Dude, I mean, what a just a breakdown. And watching all the errors and stuff, it was pretty hilarious in some ways too. But man, what a game. It was it's definitely gonna be one in the history books of probably the greatest failures of a major league baseball team. But what's more interesting, I think the defining moment of the series is probably not so much the Dodgers overcoming, because I think the Dodgers were the favorite anyways. They had the better team, position wise. I think you go down the lineup and you would clearly see, I think the Dodgers had the advantage. Now, obviously, you have to execute in baseball. But pound for pound, it was a Dodgers series. So I think the legacy is not so much going to be the Dodgers won. It's going to be the Yankees had a historic failure. But there was a lot of good moments in the whole series, though, that, a lot of replays that will be played, in the future and stuff. So, but it was fun watch. I mean, I was doom and gloom after the first 2 innings. Like, you fucking Dodgers, what the fuck is your problem? Yeah. It's like they almost played with no urgency. We've talked about your predictions. I think if we got to Game 7, I think the Yankees probably would have won. I think because had they won, I mean, think about it, like coming out the gate with 5 runs in the first 3 innings. That's a huge momentum builder. And then you got Cole, who's had a no-hitter into the 4th. It's like, what a demoralizing finish to Game 5. And that was how the storyline was playing out. Yeah. But it's kind of, I'm happy, obviously, about the outcome. It's good. Thank you. It's the one after the COVID championship. We get a parade. It's today. I think it's this morning, actually, right? Yeah, it's this morning. Live coverage across all major media. Fox Sports LA, not affiliated with this show, but just in case you wanted to tune in to their replays. But no, parade's today. I think they have a parade in downtown LA, starting on Spring Street, and a ticket event that ends at Dodger Stadium. So I didn't know how much tickets are. I'm working tonight, so there's no way I was going to go. But, and to be honest, like, parades aren't really my thing. I was more happy, like, oh, man, I'm happy we have a parade. But do I really want to be there? I don't know. That's debatable. It was pretty fucking stressful. Yeah. But the amount of, once that relief hit, once Walker Buehler struck out Verdugo, it was pretty joyous. Pretty joyous. But it's funny, of course, because I'm messy and dramatic, I went to Yankees Reddit shortly after the game and just watched the turmoil unfold. This team was always shitty. We played shitty against Kansas City and Cleveland. Like, fuck. We had no chance. Cashman, get out of here. It was melting down quite a bit. But it's funny how narratives shift, because the 2020 season and the World Series for the Dodgers was the Mickey Mouse World Series. We didn't get a parade. I still think it was a tough World Series. Maybe it's different for sure than a traditional season, but still a tough World Series for a number of reasons. But then now it said, those fucking Dodgers, they just bought a championship. And that obviously they spent a shitload of money on all their acquisitions. There's no denying that, but you still have to execute, I think. And to see that their role player guys, really made a difference in the game. I was in a group chat before the game, and I said, my 2 players that I pick who I think are going to have a big game is Edman and Hernandez. And sure enough, they played, they had some pretty key plays in the game that that really helped accelerate the team. I mean, you just have to put the ball in play, right? I think you and I were talking about this week, just the difficulty of baseball is the fact that all eyes are on you as soon as that ball, either it's thrown to you, it's hit to you, you're pitching it. It's like it's a 1v1 game. And you versus the ball, you versus the batter or the pitcher, whoever, right? And as soon as that eyes on you, it's like you're expected to perform, right? So I think sometimes just making, like I've seen it in the Diablo games, like when we just make contact and try to force a play, then, you know, there's still a chance we're going to fail and not make it on base or whatever the case may be. But I know I've gotten a few hits by just being aggressive and running hard down the line and getting on base. So, I mean, that's the fun part about baseball. You just got to fucking put it in play. And no one knows better than that than Tommy Edman on Aaron Judge's flop of the century. If Willie Mays' catch was one of the best catches ever, Aaron Judge's catch was, or fail catch was probably one of the worst. I don't know. Dude, he's the worst. Angel Hernandez is the worst umpire I think that ever. But he's gone now. Okay.
They forced him out.
He's the old guy, man. He's been there a long time.
But
well, see, that's a good lesson for life, right? That's baseball. I mean, you just got to take it one step at a time. You can't overthink it and get ahead of yourself because bad things happen. Mm-hmm. But no, I'm happy with the outcome of the game, and to be fair, like, you know, the Yankees are, I don't dislike the Yankees, right? I think they have a lot of players on their team. I think are great players. I mean, obviously Cole, Judge, like these guys are, you know, Hall of Fame caliber players. You know, I think Judge he's probably experiencing what Clayton Kershaw is experiencing in his career. Like you're a regular season GOAT, but you get to the postseason, you just shut down. Yeah. Oh, he was injured. He hurt his toe.
Right.
I think it was his toe. He had some random injury.
Sure.
But, you know, whatever. He's happy. I'm happy for him. But it would have been poetic to have a guy like Kershaw out to finish the World Series, or at least pitch in the World Series. But I think he doesn't have it anymore. He doesn't have it in the tank. I think he's probably done after the season. I think he has an option year. But I think the option year had to be met with certain benchmarks throughout this season, and I'm pretty confident he didn't meet those benchmarks. I think one of the contingency was like having 10 starts, and I want to say he only made 3 or 4. So, yeah, that's what happens. He's got a lot of mileage on his arm. I'm sad if he does retire. I'm sad to see he didn't get his 3,000 strikeouts because that's a pretty good benchmark. He's a Hall of Famer, there's no doubt about it, and he pitched well in the last World Series, so. The Mickey Mouse World Series. But hell, man, I think Kershaw is my favorite player of all time. I love that guy. It's just it's sad that he didn't get the postseason history that he probably deserved. But I mean, you got to perform, and if you don't perform, you don't
deserve it.
Yeah. I mean, Kershaw's splits are kind of odd too, cuz he's had postseason games where he was just like lights out, classic Kershaw. And then other postseason games where he was just awful. But I've always contended, because I've seen him a lot of his postseason innings, and it seems like in the 7th is when he fucking just shuts down. And it's probably because, my guess would be the history of it, in 2013 when they were up against the Cardinals in the championship series. I think it was game 5 or 6. Might have been game 6. Where Kershaw was dealing. Oh, it was in the beginning of the series. Kershaw was dealing. It was Dodger Stadium. And come the 7th inning, I think it was game 1 at Dodger Stadium. The 7th, they were winning. They had like a 5-0 lead or some pretty good, score differential. But then 7th inning came, dude, and it was like Matt Carpenter, Matt Adams, Matt Holliday. All the Matts just started swinging all these singles on him, and then they lost the game. And it was the seventh inning, dude. He was dealing up to that point. And then Game 6 was an elimination game. That's when Kershaw, again, dealing through the sixth. For whatever reason, the seventh inning came around, and this just took a shit. Huge shit. Loaded the bases, and I'll never forget, it was a Matt Adams home run to right. That's the moment Kershaw's postseason career was mired in defeat. But, you see other games, and he's classic Kershaw. So for him, I think it's probably just a mindset thing, and getting to that seventh inning was always a struggle. And then as you age, you just become less effective. His fastball, quite a few ticks lower than it was back in 2013. So still, I'm also happy to see Walker Buehler have a fucking kind of a button of an inning. He's always going to have that moment that he closed with 2 strikeouts, Game 5 of the World Series in 2024. So it's always good. There's YouTube videos where it shows you all the closeout for all the games up to this point. So Walker having that, for him and his career, I think is pretty good. So, yeah, I told you we're going to go on this for 2 hours. I'm just kidding.